sliced it open, and I thought it was the fish.
He's got 2 vampire holes in the top of his boot.
And the tip of my finger was gone. And I was like, dadgummit.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Captain's Report. Today, in the hot seats, we got Captain Justin Ambush, Captain Jimmy on the fly, Captain Caleb Carolina Hook and Fly, the legendary Captain Jack Black Diamond, and of course, our producer Joe, myself, Captain Robert, Fish Finder Fishing Charters. Got some cool stories. Let's get into them.
Welcome to the Captain's Report, where the fish are big, the stories are bigger, and nothing is off limits. We're talking wild fishing tales, charter chaos, and the unfiltered side of the industry, straight from the captains who've seen it all. So grab a beer, hold your rods, and tighten those drags, because this ain't your granddaddy's fishing report.
All right, so our topic is the fish that bite back. Some good stories about the fish that bite back. Who wants to go first on the fish that bite back?
I'll start with Justin.
Justin,
I know you got a good Wahoo story.
Which one?
Yeah. All right. Give us a good one. Pull that mic up.
No.
Pull that mic up a little closer. There you go. Nice.
Fishing on one of the quay boats, got bit by a wahoo, gaffing it, and thrown in the boat.
Oh yeah.
13 stitches.
So, jeez.
It
All
was
right.
bad.
So tell us how did that start out? I mean, what was the day like? What
We were whacking the wahoo,
were you and just gaffing
literally
and slinging?
gaffing them, throwing them in the boat, and one swung it in the boat, hit me in the leg, and didn't even feel it hit me.
Oh yeah.
Blood everywhere.
Just look down.
It was
and
gushing.
Gushing. Those wahoo, man, they got razors for teeth. So I mean,
I thought it was the fish bleeding.
really? Yeah.
yeah.
I've been there, seen that one before, but. I mean, was it your fault when it got slung in, or somebody else sling the
It
fish
was me
in?
gaffing it. It was on the swim platform.
So
and
you
just,
gaffed it?
It caught me on the leg going in.
Oh, I got you.
No idea it even hit
mouth
me.
wide open, sliding in. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Wahoo, man, they got razors. It's tough not to get bit when
That's
you're
the
wahoo
worst,
fishing.
probably.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no really good place to hold them either.
No.
Unless you grab them by the tail.
Solid as a rock head, and then no other really soft points on the body to get a grip on, right?
Yeah.
Double fish.
Definitely got to be careful under the gills because they have that bottom row of teeth that cuts back a
Oh
little bit.
yeah, exactly. I didn't think about those. You shove up too far, it's like a dang Chinese finger trap. You're not coming out too fast.
Been close. Never actually received
Yeah.
the bite of a wahoo.
Yeah, so those wahoo got that extra row underneath the gills. You can't really shove your hand up in there without.
No, might lose a finger.
Yeah,
Talking about the gill raker.
yeah, the rakers and oh man.
So Justin, when you got sliced by the Wahoo, how far out were you, and what was your next step of action?
We're about 70 miles and put some electrical tape on it and a towel and drove home.
The old.
I wanted to stay because I got the bleeding to stop, but they didn't want to stay.
Oh, so
Fish were biting.
yeah, they stopped. They called it for you. Yeah.
It's robbing them. So
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, man, wahoo. This is the ones you got to watch out for sure. I mean, not much more beyond a good old kingfish too.
I was gonna get right into it. A little snake king mackie.
Oh, dude, one of those ones comes in the boat freaking out, and you got flip flops on, or you just try to pick them up by the back of the head, and they turn on you. You got any good ones on those, Jimmy?
Yeah, I got one that comes to mind. It was Belky Bear, October.
Oh yeah,
Fight was going on.
Yep.
Gaffed it, threw it in the boat. This was before I knew what a grip flip was. I now know what a grip flip is, and I will never unhook a king mackerel with anything other than a grip flip. But using some 6-inch needle noses to try and get it out, got the first hook out of his, right behind the gill, how the stinger hook gets behind the gill, and then go to get the next one, which is kind of like a little bit down there, but I had the lipper on them. Opened it up, kind of going. I think it was my right hand because it was this finger right here. And you can still see the scar. I mean, it was straight across. But like Justin said, didn't even feel it.
Yeah.
He shook his head once, sliced it open, and I thought it was the fish. And then I put a towel on it, and then just my whole hand covered.
Just blood.
Yeah.
Just blood roll. Isn't that wild though? I mean, even so, your wahoo, the kings, down to the Spanish and blues.
Yeah.
I mean, all those fish with those razors for teeth. I mean, they come at you, and usually you don't know you're popped until
it's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
You got blood running down. Where's this coming from? Is this me, or is this the fish, or what's going on?
Yeah.
I have another good one outside of a king mackerel. If this is self-induced, by the way, and I gotta give out a shout out to my buddy John Cook, who is not with us right now. He's in New Mexico fighting the bad guys. But John Cook got so drunk with us in a kook taco tournament that he started lipping flounder. And because there's no flounder in North Carolina, as they say. But we can't go up there and not catch 20 nice flounder every time we fish a tournament, whether you're fishing a dock, the waterway, wherever it might be. But John was blacked out drunk by about 8:15 in the morning, and he was like, "Watch this."
Tournament day?
Yeah, tournament day. John was a beanbagger that day. He sat in the beanbag for the remainder of the day.
Ballast.
But he was like, "Watch this." And you know how like a flounder, if you pull the hook on it too early, he'll start peeling the skin back on your bait? Well, that's what his thumb looked like.
Oh, God.
It was just raw. But he didn't feel it, and he kept doing it.
Over and over.
Eventually, he had just enough where he fell asleep and didn't do it anymore. But that was my, yeah.
He fell asleep after his finger got chewed on?
did.
How many, what do you think, 20 flounder? Probably burned through a
Probably 20 beers, too.
Jeez,
It's good to go.
Louise.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always the good one, too, is, I mean, the flounder, they got almost like got the vampire teeth.
The flounders are sneaky.
They are, man. They'll be chill, calm, cool, collected.
You
You're
pick
like,
them up
okay.
and they freak out. I mean, I got on my hand right now.
Same.
There's 2 fang marks in my
Look,
my hand.
matching.
Yeah.
Have you seen the shirt trick where you put the edge of your shirt on their bottom lip and hold them?
No, I've saw that, but I've never tried it.
I hadn't tried it either. I just saw it the other day.
Mine is always just the go-to is the fish, the
grippers.
grippers. Get that in them and turn them 90 degrees to where his jaw locks, and then go at the hook. That's it. So.
All right, Captain Jack.
Let's hear a
When
legend.
did the fish bite back?
I've been bit too many times.
What's the worst one?
I laid this open all the way across here.
What is this? Your wrist?
My wrist.
Yeah.
I think it was 7, 8 stitches. The captain I was working for, I went up to him and did my fingers like this and said, "Ooh, look, you can see all the stuff in it."
You spread it apart?
And he about passed out in the chair. But then I had teeth mark all down my arm, and then it cut right through here.
And what was
and
it?
It was just
What
a
was it that
king
bit you?
mackerel.
A king?
About a 20-pound king. I gaffed him, and I'd missed a head gaff. The fish was coming across, and I tried to gaff him in the head or right behind the head, and I missed. I was a little bit too far down.
Well, then
I
they
was
turn
bringing-
it into a what is it? The banana, where it's
Like a suitcase,
Yeah,
you
flipping
know.
back and forth, head
Well, I
shaking
was
just as much
bringing
as the tail shaking.
I was bringing him up over the back of the boat, and the guy in the fighting chair thought that he was going to help out by lifting the rod up. Well, the king was on the gaff, so all it did was lift his head up.
Perfect.
And his mouth was open. It lifted his head up, and he hit me here and fell back down. And like y'all said, I didn't feel nothing. I dehooked the king, went back over. I'm sitting on the gunnel, letting the downrigger back out, and the lady on the charter just started freaking out. Oh my God, and there was a puddle of blood beside where I was at. I was straddled the gunnel, and it was just a steady stream running
Poured
off my arm.
Off your arm, down
And
your,
I
down
had
your
to,
wrist.
when we fished the rest of the day, I bandaged it up. And the worst thing about it was, when I got in, I needed stitches and needed to go to get, the med center. But my charter people were like, well, you're going to clean our fish before you get
Oh gosh.
taken, So I had to clean a cooler full of fish, bandaged and wrapped up, and then had to go get stitches all across here and stitches across there. For the longest time, I had scars of teeth mark all the way down my arm, scars on it.
So I got one king that's actually a near miss. I'll just throw this in the king category before I throw my fish that bite back. But I literally, on the first charter boat I ever worked on, learning how to hand line or leader fish in, king coming up behind the boat, probably about a 15, 20 pounder. We've been catching them on spoons. With the spoons, when you start leader them, you just got to keep them going forward, keep that forward momentum. And he decided to take a run right as I was about to swing to do the flip, and came right towards my midsection. Back then, my clothes weren't quite so tight, but I had a loose shirt on, cotton old Guy Harvey shirt, and he grabbed the fold in that shirt and shook his head and fell in the boat. And I looked down, and I pulled my shirt straight, and there was a perfect diamond cut out of my shirt. I was like, whoa, that was close.
I have a similar near miss fishing the Wahoo series with Captain Robbie, Captain Calvin. And when you boat a fish, you have to hold the fish up and take a picture with a sign with a number on it they give you. Caught a nice wahoo, 50 pounds. We go to hold it up, and it's still green, and Calvin grabs it under the gills, and I'm holding the tail. And that wahoo shook real quick. We took the picture, and I looked down, and Calvin's shirt in the crease of his elbow was split all the way open. And I said, dude, are you bleeding? And he looks down and was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he shook once, and he was like, I had no idea, and it sliced his shirt.
You just scissored your shirt.
I was like, dude, if that hit those veins right there in the crease of your arm, you're done. So that's near miss.
Yeah. All right, so I do have a bite story. This is a common one. Sharks. Sharks, the fish that bite back. So obviously around here, we take the kids fishing on our little half-day trips, and we catch all these little tiny sharp noses, 2, 3, 4 foot sharp noses. What does every single kid on the boat want to do? Oh, I want to take a picture with a shark. I want to take a picture with a shark. So, of course, you're sitting there posing. I've always been to the fact where, like, I won't let them completely hold the fish just for this reason, that if it gets loose, you know, it's either falling on top of them or you know, running around being an ankle biter on the boat. So I'm holding this 3 foot shark nose this little 12-year-old girl caught. And I grabbed it and kept its mouth closed by putting my fingers underneath its chin, thumb on top of the head, like, you know, like Crocodile Dundee or Steve Irwin, just keep his mouth shut and he can't do anything. So I let her hold the tail. I was like, you hold the tail, I'll hold the mouth, let's take a good picture. And I knew it was coming when it was coming. You can feel those fish kind of power up a little bit. They tense up. They tense up, about to go freak out. And I couldn't get my hand back to the tail fast enough before he started freaking out. And, of course, he freaked out. The little girl freaked out. She took a huge lunge backwards, but she took the shark with her.
Oh.
And took it out of my hand. So she's holding this 3 foot sharp nose by the tail with one hand, and he is back and forth, chomp, chomp, chomp. I want a piece of something.
Yeah.
And all I can do is say, drop it, let it go, run away. She would not let this fish go. I had to take my hand and come in, and I grabbed about as far down that shark as I could, right below her hand, grabbed it by its tail, but that was just close enough to turn a banana, and he put a perfect semicircle slice around my elbow and perforated like 4 or 5 times on the bottom side. Of course, just blood drooling. Same motion through the shark. Okay, cool, that's over with. Girl didn't get hurt. Here's the kicker. Girl, dad, mom. Dad was a firefighter. Mom was a nurse.
Oh.
Yeah, guess who had to wrap me up? Myself. They wouldn't even touch me. So I grabbed the gauze and an ace bandage, and I'm sitting here wrapping myself. Guys, give me a second. Let me wrap myself. Didn't offer to help, nothing. Just set up in the front. Just let me do my thing. And I was like, cool, thanks.
They didn't want that liability.
I know.
That's the dream crew to have a bite on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But young and dumb, that was when I was early years of running the fish finder. I get up to the office. They're like, oh, you got bit by a shark? I showed it. It's filleted open. Like, you should get some stitches. And I'm like, nah. Yeah, there's probably still scars left. I mean, it was meat folded. Yeah, that'll be all right.
You remember the boy that we nicknamed Trigger?
Oh.
On the head boat?
Trigger. That's a pretty good one. All right. So how did he get his nickname? Oh, this is on the head boat, right?
Yeah. He got his nickname Trigger because he was dehooking a triggerfish up on the bow of the boat, and the thing turned around and bit him like right here between the hand.
Talking about between the pointer finger and the
bit
thumb?
him like that.
In the sweet, what do we call that? The sweet meat? Yeah.
He let out the blood-curdlingest scream. You thought somebody would have been murdered on the boat. They heard it on the back of the boat over the engines, and so everybody, his nickname for the rest of the season was Trigger.
Trigger.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we thought somebody got murdered on the front of the boat.
That's funny. That is hilarious. Any other guys with any good nicknames from fish?
Yeah, I figured that you'd remember
the
him.
Trigger. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The fish.
I've got one bite story. Probably my first or second year chartering. One of those days the bite's kind of slow. We caught a surprisingly good-sized bluefish for the creek. We were inshore flounder fishing. And as soon as we get it in, this little kid's all excited. And I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good-sized bluefish. And I was like, hey, I'm going to get him in the boat, stay back. They've got teeth. And so as soon as he gets in the boat, the kid's like, they've got teeth? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, I want to see the teeth. And I was like, okay, well, let me get the hook out, and then I'll show you the teeth. But the teeth, they hide them in their gum line. So I grabbed the bluefish, and this was just me, young and dumb. Instead of getting pliers and pulling his lip down,
Oh, yeah.
I just got my fingernail and barely pulled the lip down. I was like, yeah, look at his teeth. And he just goes,
Sucked that finger right in, didn't he?
and I looked down, and the tip of my finger was gone. And I was like, dadgummit. And the mom's like, what's wrong? And I was like, he bit the tip of my finger off.
That's pretty funny. That is pretty funny because I have a very, very similar story. I don't know if the old man remembers this or not. The first time I had ever caught a bluefish, I remember we were fishing over by the Red 14. I don't know if we were red fishing or I was too young to remember. I caught a bluefish. I'm in the back of the boat. He was in the front of the boat. I don't remember exactly because I was so young. All I do remember is it was the first bluefish I'd ever caught.
Right.
And I get him in the boat, go to take him off, and the old man goes, hey, be careful. That's a bluefish. He's got, Too late. I already had my finger just trying to get the hook out. It's like a couple seconds earlier would have been perfect. No, first time you learned a bluefish have teeth.
So I this was fairly recent, maybe a year or two ago. I'm fishing out by the jetties, and it was either a 5 or 6 top. I had a full boat, and I had given them all a cup of shrimp, and I was like, look, I will get to you as fast as I can, but if I can't get to you, here's how you need to bait it. If you get a big fish, yell net, and I'm running laps, just unhooking a sea bass, unhooking this, that, the other, hoping to stumble into some drum. Same thing. I'm in the back of the boat, and the guy in the front of the boat starts yelling, and I look, and he's just whipping his hand back and forth, and I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he was like, I lipped this fish, and it's not letting go. He had a whole toadfish locked down.
A toadfish locked on the hand.
Locked on his thumb.
That's like putting your hand in a pair of vice grips.
Yeah.
If those guys, if you guys out there don't know what a toadfish is, definitely look that one up. Toadfish. The other name for them is oyster crackers.
Yeah.
Or mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law fish, because they have
You know what they call
jaws.
them in Jersey?
What do they call them?
Sally growlers.
Sally growlers. That's pretty wild.
You ever heard one growl?
No, I have not. Is that why they call them Sally growlers?
I've never heard it called Sally growler, but I'm not. Probably so. We always call them oyster crackers.
Oyster crackers, yep.
Yeah.
I've had a few of them. If you piss them off, they'll growl.
Like a grunt or like a drum?
No, like a growl. Whatever you just pictured when I say growl is what it sounds like.
Wow, that's pretty weird. I'll have to listen for
piss
that
one
one
off
next
now.
one.
But that guy had toadfish latch on his thumb. He's shaking.
It's just holding.
And it's not letting go. And he's finally calmed down. And he's just holding it. And I was like, bro, what made you look at that fish and think I'm going to lip it? And he was like, I don't know. I was trying to get, you were busy. I was trying to get the hook out so we keep things rolling. And so we sat there and he was like, what do I do? And I said, I don't have a clue. And so I took the pliers and tried to kind of knock him in the head a little. Nothing. He's just locked
Piss him
down.
off a little bit.
So I was like, well, man, look, just come back to the live well and just put your whole hand down in the live well. Maybe if we get him in some water,
He'll let go.
he'll relax. And it might have been 2 minutes. It felt like 10. But finally the fish let go while he was just soaking his hand in the live well.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
That fish bit back.
Yeah, it did.
Your uncle would have had the state record and his name by it, but he would not turn it in.
Oh, because it was a toadfish? Did not want the recognition
Did not want the recognition
for the
of
largest
state record toad
state record
Your
toadfish.
Uncle Marshall caught a toadfish. Literally, we weighed it over 10 pounds.
Gosh. I'll take it. Put my name on the books.
It's a
Had a
world record, not a
mouth.
state record.
It had a mouth on it that looked like what on the Sesame Street, that one that comes out of the trash can Grover or whatever.
Cookie Monster.
Yeah, that's what his mouth looked like. This thing was like this big and this wide. He caught it on the 10-mile reef we were fishing. years
Good to
ago.
know. I'm going to go get him.
Oh, that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny.
Yeah, we
The
went
fish-
in and-
the fish that bite back. That would have been. You could have shoved your whole hand in that. Oh
You
man!
could have put a
Speaking
softball
of,
in that.
you were talking about thumbing. How many times do you get customers on the boat that ask, "Hey, can I lip this? Is this that's what I'm saying. Like, can I stick my foot? You know what I mean? Do these fish have teeth?
Yeah.
And you got to explain to people that what percentage of saltwater fish have teeth?
A lot of them.
99.
99.
Yeah, I was going to say 90%.
I didn't want to be repetitive, but when Caleb was talking about the guy lipping the toadfish, I had a dude from Indiana, same thing, very busy boat, so I'm like doing what I can, and it was when we just started, and catches a bluefish, and he's just holding it there, and I'm like, I got you, man, I'll be right with you, and he
Hold on.
lips it, and the bluefish bites down on his finger, and I hear him screaming. And if you know what a bluefish, like, they don't just let go.
Yeah.
No, it's shake.
And it's shaking there on his finger, and his finger is, I'm watching him bleed. And I was like,
I mean, did it almost? I mean, I can imagine it would sleeve his finger.
yeah.
I mean, you could shake it around the thumb.
And I was like, man, like, I want to apologize, but
You did it to yourself.
At what point are you like, bruh?
But
Come on.
afterwards, it got off. I mean, we bandaged him up. But I looked at him and I was like, look, going forward, everything we're going to catch today has teeth.
Yeah.
So don't put your finger in its mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, if we really think about it, like a black drum and a croaker,
Sea bass.
sea bass.
No, I mean,
there's not
even
many
the ones
that.
that don't have
even-
sharp
the
teeth
only
got
have
teeth in the
jaws
back.
that'll.
Yeah,
Well,
they got teeth in the back of their mouth.
That's sea bass is the only one that I'm like, hey, look, this is the only saltwater fish I will lip, and even then, I'm not lipping him. I'm bypassing his teeth to get to the soft tissue.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's like a bass largemouth on steroids. It's still, if he shakes, he's still going to chew you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not many out there that don't have teeth.
I tell the people the same thing about red drum. They're like, yeah, I see guys holding these things and they lip them. And I was like, well, that's cool. But
Go
if
ahead.
you look at their top jaws, they have teeth.
Yeah.
And they will bite you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
worst thing you can do with the red drum is shove your fingers up, like you're doing a trout.
Oh, the
throat
gill
thing.
gill plates.
The gill rakers,
Rakers?
they're not coming back.
No, and it hurts.
Chinese finger
Same as a
trap.
grouper.
Yep.
People grab them.
Most of them are like
That
that.
and then the grouper's gill plates, even a sea bass's gill
Oh.
plates.
razor sharp.
Oh yeah.
Razor sharp. So, dang. The fish that bite back.
I got one more. If you
All
got
right,
time
what you
on
got?
it.
What you got?
Commercial fishing years ago. You ever heard of the Cabera snapper?
Indeed.
The big Cabera snapper?
Yeah.
We caught one day that was about 85 pounds. To give everybody
Good
else,
grief, that's a big one. For a Cubera?
Oh,
How
I
big do
know.
they get?
we caught them
I-
up to 110.
I
way.
weighed one in. I remember when I was a teenager, we weighed one in and gutted. It was 90 pounds.
I think the world record was just caught like last week down in Venice.
How big?
Off a rig, 130.
Holy cow.
I
so
had a-
those big ones, what I thought was cool as a teenager, I'd break the fangs off of them and turn them into
Yeah.
like necklaces.
I have
Well,
a
Yeah.
They're
very
they have
very
fangs.
toothy
They have
critters.
two big fangs
Yeah.
up top
Yep.
Yeah.
and two down below. All right, I had a greenhorn on the commercial fishing boat, and we caught this 85-pounder, and we told him they got teeth. They will bite you. They're one of the only fish I know that you can lay them on the deck, and their eyes will follow you. They will watch you.
Wow.
Seriously.
Weird.
And this guy wanted to see those fangs, and he was relentless. We kept telling him, John, quit messing with the fish. Don't. He'll bite you. Don't, And he's back there with his commercial fishing white boots on, kicking him in the mouth, trying to get him to open his mouth up. Well, that Cabera was sitting there and looking at him, and keeping his jaws, and had his jaws, you can see them flare out, Well, he waited for this was perfect time, and when
The
that
right
foot-
swing and
the right swing come
Looped the
down,
mouth, huh?
he opened that mouth up, and that boy inserted his all the way up to there, and that fish latched down, and you could see the muscles in his jaw, just gone. That boy started hollering and screaming, and he's got his whole foot in his mouth, and we run back there and trying to figure out, like you did, trying to figure out how do you get
Yeah.
somebody's foot out of a,
Yeah.
the fish's mouth is big enough that he can put his whole foot in, And it went all the way up, and that fish is bit down on it. Finally, Crazy Richard took a kill stick and just beat him to the beat the
Or
fish
the fish
senseless.
killed the fish.
Why?
Yeah.
When we get the boy's foot and boot out of the fish's mouth, he's got 2 vampire holes in the top of his boot, and blood's coming out his boot from his foot.
Oh, God.
And the bottom 2 fangs almost made it
through the rubber, the
sole
sole,
on
yeah.
it. But we looked at him, and his foot even bruised that night, started bruising.
I mean,
you know,
those bigger fish, I mean, not only do they have teeth, but they got muscle power.
and the only thing we could ever say to that boy every time my foot hurts, we dumbass. He's limping on the boat, dumbass. I mean, because we kept telling him, quit messing with that fish, quit. He kept kicking, and sure enough, the old fish opened his mouth. He inserted the foot right down. But
That's
seeing
it.
those holes in the top of his boot and blood coming out the holes in the boot, that was
the fish that bite back. Oh, that's pretty good.
it was payback. Now poor fish died, but he got his last.
He got his last bite in, didn't he? All right, so I got another idea for you guys. You know, we abide by all these fishing regulations. We got a handbook. It's going to be coming out again here soon. Come, July. We get a new one every season. Things are changing. We've got new regulations on redfish. Obviously, the controversy with the red snapper. It is our job to always know what these things are, but we also have what I feel like the best conscious thoughts on which ones are the worst.
Yeah.
And which ones are just seem ridiculous for our area. And I want to know what is the worst regulation you think we have right now on the fish?
Sure. Justin, what you think? What's the one you disagree with?
I want to say gag group.
Gags?
There's more gags and scamps. There's tighter regulations on scamps than the gags. Right
Yeah. You kind of think it's reversed on that
Yep,
grouper spectrum?
It is for sure.
You think it's because of maybe how they age? You think they age differently, or do you
I
think
think it's the red snapper
Yeah. Yep.
because they pushed them. They're not in that 90 to 100 foot as much. The
Yeah.
scamps have pushed further out. The gags have pushed further in.
Yep.
I agree with that because I think the red snappers are hanging more in that 60 to 80 range, and that's
It used to be the gags.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, dude, we're catching last year or the year before. I've been catching keeper gags. I've seen 2 or 3 keeper gags between Pawleys Reef and North Inlet Reef.
Really?
Keeper 24-inch gags.
35
off
to
mud meadows
45
and-
foot of water.
The red snapper are the most aggressive feeding fish.
One
in the
of
water
them
column.
in our area.
well,
right?
that's why they say the sea bass populations are
Oh,
kind of
same
down
thing with the sea bass.
because they're eating them.
Yeah.
They are, but even then, I still think. I mean, how many sea bass do we go through? Like, I get it. I know there needs to be a little bit more preservation on the sea bass, but of the majority of species that we catch on the reefs inshore, what is the most common one we catch?
You're absolutely right. Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And sea basses.
Yeah.
You can go out there with 12 mud minnows and catch 12 sea bass,
Yes,
12
yeah,
drops.
nonstop.
That's honestly the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
so gags, right?
Yeah, if you could change the law, if you could write the rules, what would you propose? What would you change it to?
Do 1 per person, not 2 per boat, just 1 per person. However many people are on the boat, whatever on that. We take the scamps and put them 1 per person, not 3.
Yeah.
Well, what
Just
about
change it all the way around? And
So
makes it a little better for the scamps.
So how would you force? Because there's still a three grouper
Three
grouper
aggregate.
ag.
Well, that's
Yep.
per person, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
per person.
Yep.
But you can only keep 2 gags per boat now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying just one
One per-
gag,
one per
one
person.
scamp.
And that's
Or
it.
or
And
would
then
you
one
or would
rock
you just
eye.
increase that 2 to say like 6?
You can say 6 per boat.
So
So they've had that.
This is something that I think is going to be a little bit controversial going forward with the red snapper. That when they open it up, and the only thing that I'm concerned with the red snapper, they're completely and totally going crazy wild as far as blowing up in population. And this is not to kind of hit at the old man and the old fisheries, but the head boats. The
I'm
head boat.
guilty.
I know. The head boats.
I'm guilty.
The head boats is what
I'll
I'm
admit to it.
worried about because, yeah, that's all well and good. I think most boats one per person on the snapper. We're taking 3, 4, 5, 6 people out at the most, but you can take a head boat out and catch 100.
Well, they can easily ride along in there. Any vessel
Yeah.
that carries more than 15 people.
Yeah, a boat limit.
And
Say
limit
20.
that as 15 fish per boat.
That's what I think that they should add, but I don't think they've thought about.
Yeah.
Only because I think that's the one little piece of the whole puzzle that can make it flip from one side back to the other.
But they also need to kill a bunch of the reds anyway.
But they need to
so
kill.
that
But
will help for a couple years.
But I think if you go that route, you might do it a little too quickly. You know what I mean? I think we have enough private, smaller boats that we can hit them pretty often enough that it'll come down. I'm just worried.
If they wouldn't change the commercial regulations, leave them the same,
Yeah,
and just allow one snapper per person per day,
yeah.
I think that it would balance itself.
It'll
because-
take,
Yeah,
it'll
I
take a
think
little
that-
long. It'll balance out.
Yes, but I
Because-
think that way, like you said,
I
it's
think it
not
would-
too quick.
Yeah.
But I think,
And that's,
being
that's
able
what
to
they're going for, and I think that's perfect for most charters. What I'm worried about is for the head boats. You know, you
well,
get
and limit.
That's the
The
only.
multi-passenger boat, anything over 6 passenger is limited.
I would say 20 or 30. That's cool.
That's plenty.
Yeah, and that's.
But they're still not going to hurt it. It's the same as in Venice right now.
You think so?
That's why you can keep 4 per person a day down there.
Wow.
They're trying to up it and control it.
Yeah,
It's-
but see,
it used to be
Venice
2.
Venice also has a lot of more, I think, structure. All those platforms, God, I
And they
wish,
got more.
that's a
I
whole
mean, when
that's
we-
a whole nother subject
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
different.
That's a whole nother subject. All right, so Gags, what about you, Jimbo? What do you think?
I'm on the weekies, dude. Weak
Dude,
fish.
I am 100% with you.
But
Weekies versus speckles. I think they should flip them.
I agree with you. I think 10 speckled trout is way too many.
Yep.
Because, I mean, since I've been chartering here, which honestly, compared to you guys, hasn't been all that long, I have seen a decline in our speckled trout. And, I mean, you guys know how I feel
Yeah,
about that.
I
but
believe you.
Yeah,
I'll
would.
reiterate.
Yeah,
Exactly. It ought to be
100%
flipped.
flipped.
Yeah.
I mean, but how many times do we go out and hammer the Weekies 100 at a time?
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
and
it's-
our regulation for clarification is one,
One per
per
person.
One per
One
person.
weak fish per person.
Yeah.
And the speckled trout is 10.
Yeah.
10. And I hate agreeing with North Carolina, but North Carolina's 4, and they put a slot on it, which is 14 to 20.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with the slot because that kind of ruins the tournament fishing side of it.
I get that.
You're talking about for speckled trout.
Yes, for
Yeah.
speckled trout. For
Yeah.
speckled trout.
Yeah.
But weak fish, the one per person, I think you could easily make it. I mean,
They-
call it 3.
3, yes.
Call
3.
it- call it
Absolutely.
3.
Because, okay, so,
They have no data. That's the thing.
well, I think it's from up north is why they're having issues is the numbers of decline. But guess what? I don't necessarily think it's the fact that there's less Weekies. I think that it's the fact that they're shifting a little bit further to the south. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're using their data up there and misconstruing it so that okay, here's another point. How many weak fish do we catch when we're trawling? I mean,
enough.
a good
a
percentage
But you got
of
to
our
understand,
bycatch in our trawl.
back in the day,
Yeah.
when I was a kid going fishing with your granddad, they used to catch the weak fish. They'd fill the boats with them.
Yeah, but I mean-
2-hook rig. I'm talking about hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
I still think that there's such a, and we have schools of them that flow through. I mean, me and Jimmy have stopped where we're marking stuff on the bottom in the middle of nowhere, halfway between 2 spots, and drop down, and it's just a school of
They
10 and
they
12 inch
don't
weekies.
have the
or-
data.
Yeah.
It's why they can't rule and why they won't change.
But as far as I'm concerned, I believe the weak fish limit is pretty much the same up and down the East Coast.
It is.
I
I think it's a federal thing.
all the way up to Jersey, it's
Yep.
one a person.
And
And
Really?
No, that's what I'm saying is I think it's more set for them up there and not for
Yeah.
us. And again, even if they went to 2 per person, I mean, on our charters, you get 4 people. If each of them get to take home 2 weak fish, you got
Day is made.
That's it. The day
That's
is
what I'm
made,
saying.
and that's so easy to do with us. I mean, a lot of times when we're fishing, we go when the weak fish are here. We only get like 20 minutes. We go and we get our limit, and then we have to leave and go do something else.
Yeah.
But I mean, what if you were to do like a 2 to 3 person or 2 to 3 person fish limit, right, per
Yep.
person, and then just up it because 12 inches. I mean, how much meat do you get off of a 12 inch?
Yeah, absolutely. That would
Know
be
what I mean?
something. I think that would be something interesting because I
I mean,
mean,
you went to 14 or 15 inches.
I
'cause
think that would be fair.
yeah,
I mean,
I do too because I don't know.
you still keeping the conservation, if I can say that word. And
and
You know,
yeah, Yeah,
in
make
the
it worth it.
In the spring, when you hit them on the head, and in the fall, when you hit them on the head,
Yep.
I mean, it is literally as fast as you can go with whatever you drop to the bottom.
Pretty much, yep.
You could drop a hot dog
And on
down
either
there.
spectrum of that, if you get it just takes a little extra effort to figure out what they want, and then you can still get them.
Absolutely.
Don't waste a good hot dog.
Don't waste a good one.
Sorry, didn't mean to get on a sensitive subject there. We know how much you like hot dogs in your mouth.
So what's your proposal? If you could rewrite the law,
If I could rewrite the law, 3 fish per person at 14 inches. I think
like
that
it.
is.
I like that a lot.
I think that's fair.
3
Speckled-
14-inch men.
Speckled trout is 14 inches,
Yep.
and that's a whole other thing that I'm not going to get into.
I was about to say
but
you
Yeah.
would reduce that if you give it the choice, but the
yeah,
biggest one is
I think
increase the
10
weekend.
is absolutely insane.
Now, also too,
Yeah.
think about this. I want you to think about this aspect on our charters. We're always striving to go out. Like one of our main things on our charters is to bring home dinner, right? To bring home dinner, and when we're only able to get 1 per person on these, we have to go find something else. If we were able to keep a few more of these more populated fish, it would take a lot of pressure off of some of these other species that
Yeah.
we would then have
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
okay, we got our 1 week fish each for our 2 or 3 people on the boat. Now we're going to the reef to try to catch flounder, stop them. They're on their way to come in the inlet, whatever that process is.
Yeah.
I think it would relieve a little stress on that.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And I am surrounded by a bunch of commercial guys, so I need to be careful what I say. but
Retired.
yeah,
Retired.
my logic is if you want to, and I'm all for keep what you catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're really on that train, there's a Harrelson's right down the road.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot cheaper than what we charge for a charter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I completely understand that. I mean,
Well, I think you're hitting a note too that's a little thought that's come through my head as far as commercial versus recreational. We talk about the charter side, but we're also talking about recreational fishermen. This is a gentleman that if he needed to feed his family,
Yeah. Yeah.
go up. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yes, no, absolutely.
He's limited that because he can only have 1 of these fish when he can keep, say 3, go out and get another 3 and put these in his freezer to offset the cost of living. He's limited in that. You know what I mean? And I
With the
think
prices of everything, it's still cheaper.
Oh,
at the store for him
absolute.
nowadays.
Well, depending on what where you go, what you do, and that kind of stuff. I mean, what you have available to you. But again, on the commercial side, not to knock the commercial side, I grew up in the commercial thing, but man, it's getting tougher and tougher to justify some of the commercial fishing
Right.
compared to, the regulations that are getting put on the recreational side. So
I just don't think it's a fair.
balance. Yeah, I get it. What about you, Pop? What do you think? What is the
The one that gets me is the snowy grouper, because it's a deep water grouper, and you're allowed 1 per boat. You go out there and you drop a 2-hook rig.
well? First, you go out there. How far do you go out there?
It's 68 miles.
Yeah, I was about to say you're going
70
you're-
miles.
every
You're going
bit
in
of it.
400, 500 plus foot of water
Yeah,
to try to get
480, 500.
one snowy grouper.
And your best bet nowadays is make a 1-hook rig and let 1 person drop. Because if you send down a 2-hook rig, you're going to catch two snowies, and you've pulled that other fish up so far.
And you barotraumaed them. Is
Yes.
that what it's called? Barotrauma?
That's outside my pay grade.
I mean, that is a big difference in depth of water. So,
But there's so many of them. And I've even talked to council members, and they look at me and they say, "Oh, they'll never change nothing." I said, "Well, you
What do
give the
you-
recreational guys
I was about to say,
200 pounds. Give
Are you
the
mean the commercial guys? 200
the
pounds.
commercial
yeah,
200 pounds. I said, give the recreational guys
2.
5 or 6 fish.
Yeah.
So that
2 per person, something like that.
yeah, because I don't care what you do, if you drop and try to catch a gray tile, I think it's called actually a blue line tile.
Blue line tile or
Golden tile, you're going to accidentally catch a snowy. And the snowies have come back so good out there in the deep water. And
You think, and that's another thing I was about to say. How do you think that It's just because they don't have sufficient data.
They don't have sufficient data. And it's because they have a formula that they have to use for the fish. The data plugs in for the formula, and then the formula tells them. And
Never change the data over
No.
the years. The way they
well, and it's a time that they need to change the formula too on it.
Well, what about too? I mean, if you're fishing for snowies in the same area, you're also catching yellow edges, which is 3 per person.
Oh, that's right. I was fixing to go to that, and they're more rare than the snowies.
100%.
Flip them. Again, another one that needs to be flipped.
You know, and that one, a yellow edge, you could understand if they went to a 1 per boat or a 2 per boat deal.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just off. And now the fish nobody's been fishing out there, and you go and drop down and you're catching these silver snapper red porgies that are like 8, 9, 10 pounds and all.
And you're still, still down to one per person on those?
On the porgy, it's the same thing.
That and the season's closed for half the summer
Yeah, and
anyway.
a porgy is probably the next in line to one of the most aggressive feeding fish that you find along
Every time you
live
deep
bottom.
drop, you watch your rod tip go,
Yep.
and you know it's a porgy because the groupers won't do that.
No.
And there's still loads of them out there. They're just, guys aren't fishing for them, so therefore those numbers don't get turned in on the data.
I will say one thing about the data and the calculating and stuff. There's so many variables that I don't think that they've put enough thought into. They look at each one individually and they forget about how fish coexist with each other.
You have somebody trying to regulate an industry that's not in the industry. That's not going out there and actually seeing what's going on. And that's the hardest thing. They're sitting behind a desk, they're looking at numbers, and that's all they can go by is what numbers are given to them. You know, and that's the sad thing.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Captain Caleb? What was your thought on regulation?
One that I disagree
change?
with is what we have for our flounder regulations in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Right now, we're at 10 fish per boat if you have more than one person on the boat. And it has to be a 16-inch fish or better. And where I have a problem is in I believe it was 1999 or early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Department of Natural Resources released a study they did with their biologist. And in that study, there was some information that claims that biologically, only female flounder can get to 16 plus inches.
That's what I heard.
You said the males?
Female flounders can get 16 plus. Male flounder hardly ever get to that 16 mark.
Yeah, that's right.
So where I have an issue is now that they've pushed it to 16 as a keeper, we're just killing all the females. And especially in South Carolina, we're known for our flounder fisheries. You know, redfish and flounder. That's what most people inshore are looking to catch majority of the months, especially in Murrells Inlet. We're known for our flounder fishery. So day in and day out, the keepers we do catch are females. According to their study, we're assuming that's correct, it's claiming that females get 16 plus, males don't get to 16. So if that's the case, killing all the females, all the males are, you know, those 15 and unders. So over time, that's going to
imbalance.
It's got to. It's got to.
I see where you're going with that, is the imbalance there. But what my question then would be, what would be the life expectancy versus one versus another? Because a lot of times that I've seen in marine biology, the female life cycle or the females usually live longer than the males. The males are, they just live long enough to breed. Do you think so say they get to 14 inches and they just stay there the rest of their life? Or that's my question, is what happens to that excess of males?
Yeah.
And then also my question too would be, as far as what I've seen them raise them for, one of the explanations that was given to me is the exponential increase of offspring that can be produced in that small 1 inch difference between, you know, a 15-inch female and a 16-inch female. Like they say that it can produce 20% more, and 20% more of just say 1 million is a big difference.
Yeah.
That's at least what's been kind of told to me, but I am 100% with you trying to figure that out. Like, okay, we know for a fact all the keepers that we're bringing in are females.
Right.
Now, and I have not seen anything lately to contradict that at all. I mean, when we fillet fish all the time, pretty much every keeper flounder I've ever caught has got the little roe sacks in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what would you think would be the suggestion to changing that?
If I had to make, well, one is let me start it this way, is I feel like I would like to hear some more information on the why.
Yeah.
Why did they make it this? If that is true, that the 16-inch plus flounder are all females, why? Why is that what we kill? So maybe I'm misinformed and I don't know enough, information on the males. Why are we letting all the males go?
Yeah.
So I could be wrong in that. But just going off of what I do know,
Do you think there should be like a slot imposed?
Put a slot. and
I
kill a
wouldn't be
couple
opposed to a slot. I wouldn't.
But it might be a type of species that a slot doesn't work because of that male-female thing. That's the only thing I think of. But
Well-
with flounder, like the trout, do we need 10 per boat?
No.
You know?
Realistically, no.
And, maybe knock it down to one per person on the
I
boat.
think one per person.
Because a flounder
Is
will
a
feed
good-
a lot
is a
of
good-
people, and that way,
Especially as we get into beyond 16 inches. Once you start getting into the 18 to 20 inch range, I mean, I had a 21 inch today, and that was meal for 2 people.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you know what I mean?
oh,
So,
more than 2 people with
Yeah.
4 nice fillets. Yeah.
You think they'd ever put, and this is something I want to know about the redfish. Do you think that they would ever put any or give us any kind of trophy rules? Like, I would love a redfish trophy rule. Like 1 overslot redfish. You allow 1 overslot redfish, or even make it a tagging system where you get maybe you get, say, 5 or 6 a year where you can bring back
One big one.
One big one.
Okay.
Because you've got that set number of
Here's
clients
where-
that would
here's where they're
love
losing.
to have that one big one. Yes, you wouldn't want it too big, because I know that the bigger they get, they're probably not that very good to eat. But also, you get a decent sized redfish, an overslot red, or what we call bulls. I mean, put one of those in the freezer if you need to, and I mean that's meals. I mean, that's like getting an AJ or a grouper. You know what I mean? That's a.
Here's where they're losing it and where they haven't thought. The American dollar. Sell tags.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sell tags.
Could have done that on a red snapper and they could kill it every year.
Oh yes,
Exactly.
Easily.
Think about the money it would bring into DNR if you put, you can keep a redfish. It's $40 per tag.
Yeah.
You'd have some rich people saying I can buy, but you can only, they
Limit
can
it
only
to
purchase,
one per year or 2 per year. That's it.
or,
Every one of them's going to buy them that are going out there.
yeah, and think of the money that it would generate for them to put in their system for checking.
Yeah, I like the tagging idea. I think there's a lot of problems with tagging. We've seen it with like the deer tagging and stuff where, what are the rules, not tagging them as soon as they come in, that kind of stuff. But I think it's a good idea. And I don't want to hit on this too much, but I do think that the data system is flawed. I don't think they have the ability to get the data.
They will tell you it's flawed.
I mean, that's the problem. It's flawed, and I don't personally have a good solution for it.
Right.
Because they've cracked down on us with charter data, and we've been at these little meetings, and Joe about fell out of his chair when he looked at the number of reports that they got for, say, last year, and just thinking about how many days we ran
Right.
compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's just, the number was so low, it was ridiculous. And I get it, but there's no incentive to help us. They're using a broken system. They don't make it easy enough on us to get the data that they want. There's all this frivolous information that's needed.
Yeah.
It's so,
And why they won't come to us and say, look, like I've been established in the industry for so long.
Well, that's the thing, and we've voiced our opinion on it.
Have them
but
come
they don't change it,
and talk with us and say what would work for y'all and help the conservation. They'd probably be surprised. We would probably regulate ourselves more than they would want to.
Yeah, and I don't know. Those are a lot of good regulations to change, I think. Maybe somebody out there is listening to us, and we're the one little drop in the bucket that spills it over, but I don't know. Pretty good ideas, guys. I think nice. I think those are some awesome ideas, and hopefully maybe one day we get them changed. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. If you're in the Murrells Inlet or Myrtle Beach area, come check us out live. And if you're looking to get on the water, check out our sponsors that help support this channel. Link in the description below. Thanks for watching, tight lines, and we'll see you on the water.